The West erupted in joy when Russia officially announced its retreat from Ukraine's Kherson. Visuals of Ukrainian forces celebrating on the ground showed soldiers and residents breathing a sigh of relief. Such a retreat by Russia was indeed a significant blow to Vladimir Putin. But there's another side to it. Russia still controls roughly 70% of Kherson, east of the Dnipro River. So, technically, it may not be a complete retreat out of Kherson as Ukraine and the West wants the world to believe. In fact, some officials in Kyiv are also wary of Russia and the game it plays. But now, it is the United Kingdom that has gone out and cautioned the world of Russia. UK Defence Secretary Ben Wallace on Sunday had a thing or two to say for both sides. On Russia, he urged Kyiv to exercise caution and not underestimate Russia. He said, and I quote, "History will remind you that Russia can be brutal to their own. If they need more cannon fodder, that is what they'll be doing." This should surely send a timely reminder to Kyiv and its allies that something more sinister could happen as they celebrate. In fact, these remarks by Ben Wallace come as UK's Ministry of Defence said in an intelligence update that Moscow is planning to reprise a Soviet-era scheme that sees students given mandatory military training. Wallace also said that Russia will be worried and disappointed after losing a strategically important city. Just to be clear, the UK isn't switching sides here. It is still very much backing Ukraine with aid. At the same time, it seems to have taken a pragmatic stance and is aware of how the war will not be a cakewalk for Kyiv. You see, 8 months into the war, forces from both sides have evolved. They know that such a long-drawn fight will be a tough one, especially in Kherson in southern Ukraine, which holds the key to accessing Crimea and the Black Sea. Russia had well been preparing for this retreat. They evacuated around 70,000 citizens, anticipating a Ukrainian attack. After that was done, Moscow announced a retreat. Things are not going to be easy for the warring nations in the future. A harsh winter would mean unfavorable terrain develops, which in turn would make launching an offensive by either side really difficult. This could potentially open up the space of something the USA has desperately been pushing Kyiv for: talks with Vladimir Putin. Resources, especially for Ukraine, are finite. The longer the war goes on, the more resources will drain, and these belong to the West, not to Ukraine. That is something that neither the West nor Ukraine can afford. The US and Europe would be looking to further push Ukraine to the negotiating table and use this to make sure the war ends. Ukraine's fight is far from over. While Ukraine's celebrations on recapturing some territories in the south are justified, too much of it, and you never know what Russia's next move will be. The situation currently remains very dynamic and is changing every day. It is impossible to ascertain which side is winning. Ukraine would like to believe that Kherson is theirs now. But can one rule out a Russian ambush? What do you think?